And we're live from the 313 and the 404. It's episode 146 of the Everybody Man. This is a live podcast, and we're on a different day because we can't get our schedules together. But it's Wednesday, September the 25th, 2024. September means it's also the month of Hispanic Heritage Month. They got a weird celebration. I know Black folk, we complain about us having the shortest month of the year, but like Hispanic Heritage Month starts on September 15th. So they don't even get the whole month of September. They get the half a month of September, and then they get half a month of October. So happy Hispanic Heritage Month. It's in between 2 months. Weird. But also, our community is certainly recognizing the Sickle Cell Awareness Month and also Suicide Prevention Month as well. I know a lot of our family has been affected by both of those sort of states, so I wanted to recognize that. My name is Said Lover. Welcome to the show.
What's up? I'm Kenya Kabeen. This is the Everybody Mad Live podcast, and we really appreciate you all checking us out. Now, if you're trying to follow us, you can on all social media platforms at Everybody Mad Live podcast. We're doing it live right now. We're actually live right now on YouTube. We're also live right now on Facebook, so shouts out to everybody on Facebook, and you can find us on all podcast platforms. Said it's been a lot of stuff going on here in Atlanta, up in Detroit. Man, it's been a minute since we've been on. So first of all, let me say, brother, it's good to see you again, and I'm happy that we're back doing the podcast.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think we said last show we had done like 3 or 4 shows the whole year. And it was August, now September. We still ain't done a whole lot. Ain't done 10 shows this year in the 9th month, but we're gonna get it together because we're heading to a very important time for not only our community but just the world, how we're gonna look like and that sort of thing. Because we're an important political election going on, but there's a lot of stuff in culture that's happening too that we need to make sure that we're highlighting for the people.
Yeah. But I think the main thing, too, is really to make sure that people get out and vote, too. I think that's kind of what really propelled us with
number one.
I think the election and the Diddy drama really brought us back.
Yeah.
To just say, okay, look, like we gotta come back and do the show because I know a lot of people want to get our thoughts and they want to, share their thoughts too. So this is the platform to do it. So again, if you hit that Linktree link that you see up under the screen right there, you could actually join in the live conversation with us tonight on the podcast. But as far as that goes, Said, how's everything up in Detroit, man?
Oh man, it's good. I actually just came back from Destin, Florida, this past weekend. We did a little family vacation, so I was out there for a week. Just felt good, disconnect, not do anything. Didn't do any work. Actually took a whole lot of work to do, but didn't do anything. It just feel good to put your feet in the sand and just lounge and not do anything. Just kind of just go by the flow once you wake up. So we stayed out for about a week in Destin. So just not getting back into the rat race now, getting caught up and that sort of thing.
Nice. Same thing down here. It's been real busy down here. Been working on a lot of projects and getting ready
We see.
You said what?
I said we see.
Yeah. I've been staying real busy. And I could talk about one of the projects I'm working on, an independent series with a director by the name of Silk White. And Silk is real cool. He actually has a hit show on Tubi called Tears of a Hustler. And a lot of people watch this show. I didn't realize, like how many people watch the show until my cousin who was in it on the first season. She was like, this is my cousin Tasha Cash. She was like, you gotta check out the show. It's really good. I was like, okay, cool. So I worked with Silk before on his other show called The Transporter, which is a big show on Tubi. It's big on Amazon Prime. So he hit me up and was like, hey, I got a part for you. Can you do it? I was like, yeah, I could do it. So I worked with it and had a real great time, man. Been shooting it for the past couple of weeks here in Atlanta and had a blast with the crew and the cast, and hopefully we'll be getting Silk on the show because he already agreed that he would do the show and a couple of the actors too.
Oh, that'd be dope. I can't wait for it. I know people can't wait to hear the rest of the show, so we're going to get started because we got to talk about. Well, let's tell them what we got to talk about because we're going to talk about Diddy, obviously, and the different layers because it's not just what we know, but there are some new things that just happened over the past couple of days, including another lawsuit. There's a book that's been released last week, so we'll talk a little bit about that. Also, we have some information about the presidential election. There are some people talking about Kamala, stuff that they may or may not know about her. So we'll talk about Janet and her comments, as well as Whoopi and her comments about Janet's comments, in addition to all the stuff around that sort of instance with that.
Yeah, exactly. See, now I turned off my phone before we did the
Oh
show.
no, I meant to.
Too.
There we go.
But with that being said, so that's what we're going to be talking about. Again, you could jump in the conversation, but we're going to go ahead and kick everything off. So, like said, just mentioned, everybody's talking about Diddy. I mean, so much so it seems like, we're getting bombarded with news every hour, every single day about what's going on with Diddy. But as of right now, what we do know is that he did plead not guilty to some serious federal charges, racketeering and sex trafficking. He's been denied bail. And a lot of people in the industry right now said they are shook by this whole situation. A lot of people are worried. A lot of celebrities are worried,
As it should be.
Yeah, as well as they should. As well as they should. I've heard names pop up like Cuba Gooding Jr., Usher, Justin Bieber. I mean, it's the list.
It's like an ace list of like if you were putting together a Grammy night or a invite list for the MTV Award show or the Oscars or something like this, and you wanted people connected to not just Black culture, because we got the hip hop stars who are part of that, but the R&B artists and people in different parts of the entertainment industry, but there are lots of people in the acting sort of field. So it's just amazing how deep that it goes, and now it's like I think now it's time for people to kind of circle the wagon a little bit and try and figure out, like, I don't want to be too much connected to that because all I did was just go and have a little bit of adult fun. Like, I don't want to be associated with all the other stuff that was going on at Diddy party. I'm just having a good time.
Right. And again, these are just names that have popped up like Ashton Kutcher, Leonardo DiCaprio, TD Jakes name popped up at one point in time. Now, again, these are just names we're
was
not
that TD Jakes or was it really Bobby Brown?
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like we don't know.
Because they look like twins
so,
now.
You said what?
I said, was it TD Jakes or was it Bobby Brown? Because they look like twins now.
Well, I mean, it was TD Jakes, but Bobby Brown's name probably is going to pop up. You just never know. But again, we're not saying that these people have done anything. We're just saying that names have been thrown out there, and everything that this is all alleged. You know what I mean? Just names have popped up. No one, it's just names are just coming, and even said, it's funny. I went to a radio convention, not even a radio convention. It was the National Black Radio Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame this past weekend, and a lot of people, they were talking about it, and a lot of people are kind of nervous even in the radio industry,
so say a lot of them probably went to some Diddy parties too, because that was during the part where radio and records is intertwined with, especially during that area of the 80s and 90s or whatever, when you really still had to get airplay, where we didn't have to rely on streams or things like that or whatever, where radio was what we look at now for your Tidal or your Spotify's and things like that. Those platforms were not existent in its form back then during those parties or whatever. So it went in line. So I wonder how many people we know gonna be kind of connected to it, because it's real deep how that connection goes to people who have been doing this. And then too, I guess as information keeps going out or whatever, we keep finding out more about it, that it wasn't just necessarily because I think it was kind of like, how Black folk, like, we have a little party, like Man, it's time for his little birthday party or whatever. So Man really ain't got friends. Man friends is my friends who got kids or whatever. Mm-hmm. So like parents, when they have the kid birthday party, they're gonna invite all their friends who have kids to bring their friends over or whatever. Then after dark, you send the kids away, and then that party shifts. Mm-hmm. And becomes the adult party. So I almost wonder if Diddy party was like that, where like you had the normal with like everybody, oh yeah, it's a party, yeah, we're gonna drink or whatever. Then so this midnight turned, and then the party shifted a little bit, and now it became a little something like okay, now it's time to really get down to business. Like, you just wonder if it's that sort of vibe with the Diddy parties.
I'm sure it is, because there's been a lot of people that have said that they have attended those kind of the Diddy parties, but they never saw anything happen, which is possibly true. Like, if you all have to keep in mind, like, it just wasn't like full out orgies, freak offs when you walk into the party. I mean, these were like high profile people were going to his parties. Even like, I remember Star Jones, like going to one of his parties was really a thing. That was a thing. So it wasn't like there were freak offs all the time, but it's funny to me how, no one was really believing that Diddy did all this crazy stuff until that video dropped with Cassie. You know what I mean? Because even let's take it back. Because I mean, if you think about it, even with the lawsuit, when the lawsuit happened, and that was on a Thursday, and then that Friday morning, it was like 8 hours later. It was like it was a settlement of $30 million.
Yep,
Like
that was
everybody,
quick.
they were like, they didn't believe her. They didn't believe Cassie. But it wasn't until that video dropped of him beating her ass in the hotel that they were like, oh, like he's really
he kind of crazy. But we should have known he was kind of crazy after making a band in that reality show.
And then and then we've seen stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been in the room with him. He's very arrogant. You know what I mean? But based off of stuff that we have seen on reality TV making the band, he was a trip.
Yeah, he definitely was. I was trying to bring up that Cassie video that everyone remembers because that
abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The video, captured on multiple cameras, shows Combs assaulting his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016. A lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year and settled the next day referenced actions that seem to match those seen in this video. There is no audio and appears.
This is about the clearest video I've seen of that, but that just kind of demonstrated a lot. Now I know some people trying to say, well, why ain't nobody said nothing about Hugh Hefner and the Playboy Mansion or whatever? Like they're just trying to come after Diddy and that sort of. I'm like, well, he was on video and like he's been known to take a lot of video of it and keep a lot of video. So I think it was eye opening that this particular video got access and available to people to be able to kind of share it on the wide screen or whatever, which is why, as you mentioned, that quick settlement happened because nothing like that had ever happened. And you imagine like this has been like since the 90s. So like easily going on 30 years, close to 30 years, more than 20 years of this sort of behavior going on. And I can imagine how progressive it got. Like maybe it was just kind of real sort of docile in the beginning, if sexual assault can be docile, which it can't be, but maybe as he grew in fame and notoriety and power and clout and different things like that, you wonder if it began to graduate and his actions and the wildness of the parties and the extent that he would go to. So it's a wonder, but he has all these charges now, racketeering, one of them, like you said, sex trafficking. Do you think that's a bit overkill?
No, it's not overkill. I feel like it's needed. I mean, if he did it, he did it. The problem is, and people have to understand with the sex trafficking, that what he was doing was he was bringing in people from different states. That's how the sex trafficking charge came about, because he was flying people in and they were prostituting themselves. So that's where that comes in. But I mean, if he did it, I believe that, you know, he needs to pay for what he did. I mean, there's a lot of people that suffered, and I'm just a firm believer in what goes around comes around. That negative energy that you put out, that dark energy, like it's
gonna come back to you too.
And everybody's gonna have their day and their time. So even like with the people that have screwed me over in the past, when they've done that to me, like it always comes back to them. You know what I mean? Because I'm God's child. So I move with love and light. So it's just like when you do dark stuff and you do wrong by people, it always comes back to you all the time.
Yeah, and you really shouldn't be surprised when it happens. I firmly believe in that too. I was thinking, so I think you're in the same agreement to me. I think Diddy's done for all intents and purposes. So he's done. But what happens to the broader music industry though, with that sort of a high profile figure? Even though obviously he's not as active in some of the music that's coming out now in today's like that or whatever, but what does this mean for the music industry? Because I think this, to me, is a bigger sort of conversation about the extent that people go to get fame and the things that they'll allow and the things that they don't, that get shunned or not talked about or hushed. Because we saw a lot of hushing up with the R. Kelly sort of situation. We see some hushness going on with this, as a lot of people clearly knew about what was happening, but none of this information is happening. It's coming out until decades or two later or whatever. So what do you think is going to kind of materialize from that standpoint of kind of how do we regulate this industry so that bad actors are not taking advantage of people?
Yeah, well, I think what's going to happen is people of power, people of affluence, people with power, they're going to watch what they do and they're going to watch what they say. That's how that's going to affect the industry, because there are people up to recently, because now we're living in like that people say the Cat Williams era, where if you're done wrong, if someone tries to take advantage of you, people are gonna put it out there. Yeah. But now, especially with this Diddy situation said, I think that a lot of these powerful executives, these moguls, all in the industry that have done stuff, that have used their power to coerce people into doing something that they didn't want to do, is getting ready to stop.
Yep.
I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
Well, this ain't the only thing that he's dealing with. There was another sort of added on to what Diddy was going through with another lawsuit that came out. Gloria Allred is the attorney for this young woman. I want to play a little bit of video.
The internal pain after being sexually assaulted has been incredibly deep and hard to put into words. It goes beyond just physical harm caused by and during the assault. It's a pain that reaches into your very core of who you are and leaving emotional scars that may never fully heal. Some of the hardest parts of this pain are the shame and the guilt I have experienced that plays a negative part in my day-to-day ability to function properly. Being blamed, questioned, and threatened has often made me feel worthless, isolated, and sometimes responsible for what happened to me. My family issues made the pain even worse. I was already going through a divorce at the time of the assault and did not get the support that I needed. I was also faced with disbelief and judgment. This has put a strain on my selection of men and relationships.
That video goes on, but she goes on to detail kind of her experience of sexual assault, being sexually assaulted at the hands of Diddy and his was it his head of security, right?
Yeah, head of security. Yes, and go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that she was just detailing just that particular sort of case with her, and that what is caused for her that sexual assault that obviously Diddy in what we're hearing is to be his MO. He recorded the encounter, and apparently he is selling it. I don't know, because it ain't on like OnlyFans or nothing like that or whatever. But I would like, I just wonder if there's a dark market or a black market of like these high profile rich people, and they just interchange different little freaky videos that they have of themselves or whatever like that. But that's almost what it sounds like, is that she's alleging in her lawsuit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, this is something that Diddy did, though. Like, he always used blackmail to get what he wants from people. And again, this is why he's in the trouble that he's in. But there's really no way that his reputation is going to be saved from this right here. Yeah, especially because, now you're hearing people say, okay, like the death of Tupac needs to be reopened back up.
Mm-hmm.
Because even Kim Porter, who just this book came out, 59-page book just came out with Kim Porter. And well, actually, she's supposed to be the author, and it details her relationship with Diddy. It dropped on Amazon, #1 bestseller. Okay, this just dropped this past weekend.
That's how nosy America is. Like, we don't even know if this man book true or whatever, but like we just hitting. We done made the damn man a bestseller. Well, who is the author?
Right, and that's what I'm saying, because there was talk about a book But how do we know this is really Kim? Because even the author who put it out there said, well, I got it from somebody and I think that it may be true.
I think
that's not enough for me.
That's not good enough.
That's not enough. I know it sounds juicy, and I know that, you know, everybody, they're here for the story, and it's very believable. However, is it really true? You know what I'm saying?
Too. You got an active investigation. You got the Southern District of New York, which is one of the most ruthless district attorney offices in America. They have almost a 99% conviction rate and that sort of thing. They are handling the Diddy case. So my thing is, like, we all know that when you're dealing with like these sort of cases, like these Fed cases, you ain't gonna know. The feds don't tell you nothing until it comes out, and what it like it just wham, because they get that case all settled and kind of get all the ducks in a row and get everything all together. So there's literally nothing that you can do because they have all this mountain of evidence even before they get to that point or whatever, and they're consistent with it. That's why they have such a high conviction rate, because by the time they get to you, they already done told you front to back, up and down, side to side, what this issue is, what you did, what you tried to do, what you tried to get out of it, who was into. So they already know all the key players into it, whatever, which also to me means that they have evidence of this book or whatever Kim Porter left or whatever like that. Yeah. So are they going to let some unnamed person have access to this manuscript or whatever so that they can publish it and release it to Amazon? So now millions of people can also see this evidence, which has not gone to court, which would kind of taint the trial and mean that they wouldn't be able to give Diddy a fair trial, which means that he would be convicted on that. So do you think the Southern District of New York will allow all that to happen, even if there was or was not a manuscript or whatever? If they found out about it or someone had access to it, they will make sure that wouldn't see the light of day until this trial happens, because they don't want anything to stand in the way of them giving the defendant a fair trial. So I'm like, yeah, we all want to see this. And I heard some things on YouTube already. People have been posting, oh yeah, I bought the book, here's what's in the book and all that. That's fine and dandy. That's for clickbaits and that's it, but that's not responsible to me as two journalism school people who like that would be irresponsible of us to just go with that sort of thing without vetting it, knowing what we know, because that's just kind of living in the salaciousness of it, when like, yeah, I think there's some truth to probably some of the things that we've seen and heard on there, whatever, but allow it to come out the right way. We don't have to rush to it, because it's not like he's actively committing crimes now because he's in jail. So ain't no rush now. So we can go ahead and just let it breathe and let it ride out and let the evidence come out the right way so that we can really, really get down to the bottom. And then the people who need justice, as is alleged by all the allegations and things like that, then they can actually get it.
Yeah, totally. I agree with you 110%. You made a real good point right there. So people, you know, I get it. It's a little salacious gossip and everything like that.
We love it. We done made a man bestseller.
Yeah, bestseller.
I would love to be him.
And again, the dude, I know the dude is just sitting back like, you know, just raking up the money. He's raking in the cash. You know, this is a #1 bestseller.
Don't even know Kim Porter. Like I can see if he was a friend or but this man didn't know her, didn't run with her, just has access to her.
Yeah. I mean, in case in point, like the kids even came out and said, look, enough is enough. The kids have not said anything throughout this whole process. They just dropped a statement and the kids are like, the book that came out, that ain't it. It's she didn't write a book. You know, they would have even known about it. Right. And everything, even like you said, with the feds, they would have put it out there first. Yep. So the kids are saying that it's not true. But I still want to know what happened to Kim, though, because in my heart, I think that Diddy has something to do with it. But I don't know if that's true. Yeah. So anyway,
claiming to be Kim Porter's lost words, only for Al B. Shore, who had a child and a relationship with Kim Porter, claiming that this should be categorized as calculated fiction, meaning that he believes that this is completely fake. So Kim Porter's children took to social media and released a statement saying this: "We have seen so many hurtful and false rumors circulating about our parents, Kim Porter and Sean Combs' relationship, as well as our mom's tragic passing, that we feel the need to speak out. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not, and anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. Additionally, please understand that any so-called friend speaking on behalf of our mom or her family is not a friend, nor do they have her best interest at heart. Our lives were shattered when we lost our mother. She was our world, and nothing has been the same since she passed. While it has been incredibly difficult to reconcile how she could have been taken from us too soon, the cause of her death has been long established. There was no foul play. Grief is a lifelong process, and we ask that everyone respect our request for peace as we continue to cope with her loss every day.
There it is. So so that came from the kids, but I'll be sure is still saying, look, I want an investigation, because I'll be sure and Kim Porter, they used to date back in the day. So he's like, yo, I still want to see an investigation. So
it's a baby mama.
Yeah, that's the baby mama. So we're going to keep you updated on this. There's stuff, like we said, that comes down every single day. So we're going to compile everything, and we'll be back next week with a recap and update on what's going down with Diddy. But until then, you can follow us on Instagram at EverybodyMAD Live Podcast. All right. Well, with that being said, let's move to some political drama. Police are investigating gunfire damage at a Kamala Harris campaign office just days before she was set to hit Arizona. Now, nobody was hurt, but what do you think this is going to mean for her campaign moving forward, Stead?
Party campaign office. Bullet holes here in the glass entryway. The office is in a shopping center near Priest and Southern. Fortunately, no one was inside at the time. It's being investigated as a property damage crime, and the Mesa Forensic Unit is assisting. If you have any information, please call the authorities.
Yeah, so just to arrest someone, it's amazing we're here in this political state or whatever. You have people shooting at her campaign offices. You have the assassination attempts on the former president of the United States in there. But it's weird, because I was just telling someone like that, like the last attempted assassination attempt that was that close was back in the 80s. So it's like almost 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So we went that long without getting this sort of kind of issues that where people it's politics. It shouldn't be life or death, but they've turned it into like something life or death. If you disagree with them, then that suddenly becomes a character flaw, not just a difference of opinion. And we've just kind of gone off the deep end, led by kind of people who don't have any political experience and who want to use politics for things of personal interest and things like that or whatever. So I think it's hard to walk it back now because you have a whole nother party talking about those things. And then too, is instead of kind of blaming the person for being crazy, I think after the second Trump assassination attempt, they were blaming Democrats because they were saying, well, Kamala and Joe Biden are calling Trump a danger to society. So somehow that's why someone's trying to take them out. Meanwhile, both the people are the attempted assassins were Trump supporters or Republicans or whatever. So how they twisted it into the Democrats is beyond me. But that just shows you how they utilize what the reality is, twist it for their own purposes. Right. Say that out in mass. No one combats them. No one says, hey, you're wrong. Hey, you say that. And then people who are less astute and a little bit fragile in the mind, they get this and can't distinguish what's reality and what's theater. And then they act on it. So you have that like that. You have people acting things. And then too, guns are way easy for people to get. Crazy people can get guns. You saw in Georgia, people under 18 can get guns. You don't that's why the man in Georgia is being charged, because he gave his 14-year-old a gun for that first school shooting back in the beginning of September or whatever. So it's like we're in a crazy space because we have our crazy leaders saying things and not really inciting people. We don't have mental health or mental wellness. We don't have they used to call them crazy hospitals or whatever, but we don't even have those sort of places in mass like we had back in the 80s or early 90s where people can go to get that sort of assistance. So they're just out on the streets to deal with whatever they're dealing with. And then with the ability of having guns easily available, that's one way that they have been acting out or whatever. So I don't know how we walk back from this situation, because we've kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like we've created this toxic environment for people to exist in already, and then gave them access to deadly weapons, and then wonder why crazy people are acting crazy.
Yeah, that's a real good point. I totally agree with you on that, Sid. And what's interesting is that even with everything that's going on, you still have a lot of people, and it still surprised me how many people really support Trump with everything that we know.
Yeah,
but it's interesting that recently Trump came out and was like, I don't want to do a debate with Kamala. Like, there's no need to do another debate. Like, I've said everything that I've had to say. There's no reason for a debate. You don't want that debate because Kamala killed you at the last debate. She crushed you. She crushed you, made you look so ignorant. We saw you for who you really are, but a lot of people still are like, they're Team Trump. I don't know why.
Here's
I've done two. It's too late to do another. I'd love to in many ways, but it's too late. The voting is cast. The voters are out there immediately. Is everybody voting? Please get out and vote. She's done one debate.
Yeah. So she has agreed to do another debate. I think she's agreed with Fox to do one. I think she also told another news agency that she would also do one, but he's ducked down. But he had his ass whooped in the last debate. So it's certain why he don't want to do it. When he ran for president in 2016 and also 2020, he had October debates. So why he don't want to have an October debate now in 2024 is beyond me, because that's normally when they do the debates the month before the election in November is when they do the debates, but now he don't do it. So it's interesting, but he knew he got his ass whooped and was saying some crazy stuff, and she decided to wipe his ass on the table, and then he missed out on all of the, well, he took all the bait, every piece of bait that she threw out, he took it.
Yeah.
And was sounding stupid, talking about eating pets and all the other stuff that he said in the debate. So yeah, he sounded like an old senile man who is out of touch with reality, and she sounded like someone who's capable of actually doing the job of president, whether you like her policies or not.
Yeah. I think that it's a less than smart move on Trump's end, because he could, say, okay, let's do the debate so he could try to clean up all the mess that he said, but he's not even trying to do that. And it's like, that just tells you the goal of this man and how arrogant he is.
Yeah, he's not serious about being president. He's not serious about any of the problems that are going on. He's not serious about kind of creating plans. We've seen some of his plans or concepts that he doesn't have. He doesn't have anything on the website about healthcare, and he's been trying to change healthcare since 2016. That's 8 years to have at least come up with a concept of how you want to change things or whatever. So yeah, just like you said, it's flooring to me that this is even close. It shouldn't be a close race at all, because we've seen him as president, and we know that he added money to the debt. We know that people were being killed at a higher rate. We know that unemployment was higher. We know we went through COVID and he couldn't get us out of COVID. But here we are again. So that has always told me that, like, we don't live in a smart country.
No, we don't.
We don't. Like, we live in a country full of sheep who prefer to be fed something by whatever source you're getting it from,
and just believe any and everything. Like we just got through talking about it. Y'all want to just believe any and everything without really doing any fact checking. Like, no one wants to fact check anymore. It blows me away. Again, I get it. We graduated mass communications, and that's something as journalists that we do.
But Google is free.
Exactly.
You don't have to be a journalist to actually know how to. You only got to know the question or how you want to phrase it. Google will help your ass complete the rest of your thought and your sentence. So you can live. Hold on. Let me bring up the screen so we can just demonstrate what Google does. Hold on. Let me find any old window.
No, you can do what's the thing that I do all the time is Chat GPT.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, AI.
Yeah, AI. You know what I mean? Like,
there are so many resources that people can use, but they just choose not to. Now, let me see who is. Look, like it gives you all these options. You don't even have to know what you're trying to do. You can just search, and it just floors me that people don't do that. But we should not be surprised. And one person who has disappointed me so badly because I went to her. I had never gone to an actual arena show, like in a concert arena, until I went to a Janet Jackson show in the 90s. So she was the first concert that I'd ever seen that wasn't in like somebody's club or somebody's field or somewhere like that or whatever. Like it was the first show or whatever. So I've always been such a big fan of Janet Jackson, and she hanging on by a string. She's basically canceled. I don't think I'll spend another dime on Janet Jackson for the rest of my life.
Well, it's interesting with and what we're talking about. She's actually said that Kamala isn't black. Like she said that Kamala isn't black. She heard that Kamala wasn't black. Now, to say that you heard is very.
Girl, you're 60 years old. You should be hearing nothing. You should know everything with facts.
You know you're Janet Jackson. You know the platform that you have and the power that comes with celebrity. So for you to say you heard and you're being interviewed, and what was the interview? What was it like? Was it Rolling Stone or
I think it was The Guardian or somewhere?
That's what it was. It was The Guardian. Like you can't sit up on a platform of The Guardian and you're Janet Jackson and say you heard that she wasn't black. Come on. And then again, we know that Kamala is black. So it just makes Janet Jackson look crazy. So what went down was that there was actually a statement that was released from someone that was like, okay, I'm Janet Jackson's manager, and she apologized and she's made a mistake and she's sorry for what she did. But then Janet Jackson came back and said, no, well, it wasn't a mistake. Like this is what I said, you know, and stood behind it.
Okay, so sit in it. Go ahead and sit in it.
But the reality is that Randy Jackson, he's a Trump supporter. Randy Jackson's her brother. Randy Jackson fed her the information because he's a Trump supporter. Because Janet is in a small circle, like she doesn't have a lot of people around her, and she's probably not a political girl. Which and I believe that, just like what Whoopi said, and we're gonna check out what Whoopi had to say, but Whoopi kind of summed it up. So I'm trying to give her the benefit.
She ain't got no benefit for me. This is just he's beyond a Trump supporter. This is him in 2021, brother Randy, whose daughter also had some. Let me stop. I was about to bring up his family issues with his daughter that we forgot about, but I ain't even gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna talk about the here and now because that'll. But I was gonna talk about his past to demonstrate the type of person he is or whatever.
Well, you can talk about the past because now that you brought it up, I think people want to know.
Nope. Look it up. I ain't gonna be the one being messy on this. I'm just gonna talk about him. You said he's a Trump supporter, but also he's Robert F. Kennedy, the conspiracy theory. This is the man who got 1,000 conspiracy theories. Nothing like the Kennedys. Even his own family, the Kennedys, said that we don't know what's wrong with him because he's endorsed Trump. Robert F. Kennedy has endorsed Trump recently or whatever. And this is Randy with him. Again, this is the information. It's too important to ignore. I ignored you still on the conspiracy theory things or whatever. So Janet is grown. Janet is 60-something, ain't she?
Right, she's in her 60s, so she should know. So I do agree, Sam.
You cannot let
know better. You should know better, and even to comment on something that you don't know. Come on now, you got to stop that whole little girl because she still talks like a little baby and everything, which true. Between her and LaToya, I don't know which one is worse. Reeve's the only one that talk like a grown ass woman, but the other two they still talk like they're 12 years old, and I don't understand why. But that was very premature and immature of Janet to do that, and very reckless.
It was.
To get up.
Okay, I've canceled her.
You said what?
That's okay. I forget. Yeah, I haven't forgiven her.
And again, and again, what was funny to me is that she hasn't cleared it up. But
and she will be.
Yeah,
She won't be. And this is what people need to realize. These Jacksons, this Jackson family, they're gonna always be problematic. They're gonna always be problematic. I don't know why. Like and this is Black people, because we have this cult of personality or whatever. And during the time of the 60s and 70s or whatever, they were great ambassadors for Black people as we were going through the civil rights movement and kind of emerging from that point, and being able to see a nuclear family with a lot of kids and a mother and father and doing their things or whatever. So certainly the image was appropriate for us. And then they've gone on to be superstars. Michael, probably arguably the biggest pop star of all time. The Jacksons, very high profile. Janet, one of the biggest female artists. So they've done a lot of different things or whatever. But also they've benefited from a lot of things, and they haven't put in the type of capital because, like, do you ever recall any of the Jacksons being prevalent in any of the marches or any of those things, like things of concern? They lived in California for much of the time. So did they come to the defense of, like, what's the man that got Rodney King? Were they around during that point to kind of speak out and like some of the advocacy that they're doing advocacy in Africa and kind of doing things to help out Rwanda and some of those things that are happening in the continent of Africa, which is still important. But you live in America, you live here where Black people who look like you are going through certain things or whatever. But the biggest point, these people came to prominence during a time where they were also Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses don't give to politics. They don't vote. They're not participatory in this society because it's of the world. You know what I'm saying? So like, we should have known Janet Jackson is like this, because this is what she grew up in. Like, she ain't had no connection to the world. So why are we connected to her? Like, the only connection we need to have to them is music, because they're not connected to the plight that we have. Since Janet has born, they probably have always been affluent. Maybe they had a little bit of struggles when Michael and they were growing up in gear. But once Janet came around, like like Jackson 5 were already out there pumping, and the group was already made or whatever. So like, she came in, she the baby girl, so she came in on the clouds. Like, she's like the Blue Ivy. Like you ain't gotta ask for nothing because we got you. You the baby girl. You know what I'm saying? So we should have known that we should have expected this out of Janet Jackson, because she's never had the plight that we've had. Even though she looks like us or whatever, we should have known that. We should have known that, because Janet Jackson ain't never been with a man that looked like me and you. All the men she been with is high.
That's a whole lot.
Yellow.
Nope, Jermaine Dupri.
One.
And he's from the A.
And he's a munchkin.
But see, that's why I'm so surprised. So that's why I disagree with that, because I feel like
I'm not surprised because she was marrying him.
I feel like
she married that man from where was he, from Egypt or wherever? That's who she married.
Yeah, no, he's from Dubai. He's right.
Like
but
not
no,
black, not black.
But said
not black. She's never been about black men ever.
She was with Jermaine.
Maybe a few times.
They were in a relationship. They were in a full-blown relationship. And again, with her dating Jermaine Dupri gives her some relatability, brings her back down to earth. I mean, she will be seen at the Waffle House eating this. Well, remember when she gained all that weight? She was eating at the Waffle House after they left Body Tap Strip Club here in Atlanta, and they go to the Waffle House. They be eating and stuff. So what I'm saying is that her in that relationship with Jermaine Dupri, it gives her some relatability. It makes her more down to earth, and it makes her for the people. And I am very surprised by this conversation right here that she said with her not knowing that Kamala Harris is black. I'm just surprised by that.
She's been in California long enough to know
that she right, and so that's what I'm saying. So she should know. But like I just said, like we just told you, the word is that, and from real good sources, that Randy's the manager. Randy tells her everything. He's like kind of like her gateway to the world, and she believes everything that Randy says because this is her brother.
Well, she needs a better vantage point.
She does need a better vantage point.
She needs her own vantage point.
And
she has her own two eyes to be able to look at.
she's a grown ass woman. She's 60 something years old.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
So
she should be the first person. She should be the first person fighting for Kamala Harris, because she's going to protect a woman's right to choose. Because we all know Janet had that. Never mind.
You talking about the but I mean, for real, said this, but that's a real good point though. But I'm hoping and praying. I agree with Whoopi, and we're gonna check out what Whoopi had to say. Whoopi Goldberg weighed in it on The View, and I am agreeing with Whoopi. Let's roll that footage, bro.
Janet Jackson just did a wide-ranging interview with British newspaper The Guardian, but most of the focus is on when she was asked her thoughts on VP Kamala Harris possibly becoming the first black female president. She said, she answered by saying that she had heard that Harris's father was white, which we all know is false. And a staffer claims that he was fired for issuing an apology in her name, and that her team certified he wasn't authorized to speak on her behalf. Now, Jackson has not responded to requests for comment, but no matter how you feel about celebs speaking out politically, you know, is it okay for somebody to say, I don't know, I made a mistake?
Well, she hasn't said that she made a mistake. We don't know what she said because it's been one thing and another. Look, I think Janet Jackson, like every other American, whether you're a celebrity or not, has a right to endorse, support, or not support whomever they want. So she's got every right to not like Kamala Harris if she doesn't want to.
But that's not what she said.
What she doesn't know, what she did was spread misinformation.
Exactly.
And I think it's very irresponsible when you have a platform the way Janet Jackson does to use that platform carelessly to spread misinformation based on a racist allegation by Donald Trump.
Exactly.
Right? It was Donald Trump who tried to say Kamala Harris just turned black. So let's just go through the 101. Kamala Harris is the daughter of two immigrants. Her mother is South Asian from India. Her father is black from Jamaica. Here is a picture for all of you who need, or for Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, here's the damn picture.
I feel like a picture of Kamala also would have done, Kamala Harris would have done the trick. I thought of it less from the perspective of Janet Jackson, who's an icon, and I refuse to say anything bad about. Listen, we forget that we live in information silos. This is so different than how the media was even 10 years ago, where people largely got their news and their information from legacy media, where there was a level of objectivity and a fact checking involved. So if you perhaps get, and I'm just saying this for an example, get all your news on Facebook and you lean right of center, that algorithm is monetized and going to tee up information that reinforces your own beliefs. If you're a Trump supporter online, you very likely won't encounter ever some of the worst things that he has said. The same does go for the left. I don't even know the partisan breakdown of what happened here, but my guess is she's not looking at great sources of media. And I say all this because it's why I try to not have judgment with Trump voters. Instead, I try to engage them, because I find people who are highly educated, highly successful, that support him, but they often don't know of some of the biggest scandals or the worst things that he's said about people or things that he's done. And I think if you take the judgment out and just kind of get back to facts and then trying to persuade people, it helps.
Well, this is the number. Sorry, Sunny. This is the number one most severe.
I wanted you to play what Whoopi had to say at the end, because I agree with what Whoopi said. If you could fast forward to like towards the end.
A lack of information, but all I know is that I don't want to give it this much air.
Well, unfortunately, hold on. Yeah, she's got a phone. Janet Jackson is not a political animal.
Yeah.
She does. She's a musician. Her life is doing this, and she's mourning her brother. So
that's right.
I am. I sometimes have said stuff, and I was wrong. But people want you to say something right away, but when people are coming at you saying, hey, you're not paying, you're dumb, you don't know, you don't want to answer people, especially if...
And you're afraid you'll get it wrong in answering.
And it is a pain in the butt, I have to tell you. So sometimes people get it wrong, and they're wrong. They made a mistake, they were wrong. It happens. Anybody who says it doesn't happen to every one of us, multiracial or not, we all do it. So, okay, a little grace for the girl. A little grace for the girl, all right?
That's me.
A little bit. Not a lot, a little bit.
Just a little bit. That's it. But guess what though?
But still, you're a grown ass woman, and still you doubled down on your wrong. You was wrong to say it, and then you was wrong coming back. So she still ain't.
She hasn't come back. Though. She hasn't come back. She hasn't. There just hasn't been.
Will she come back? I doubt she comes back. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not expecting her to come back from this because I know how them Janets are. Those Jacksons.
I'm expecting her to come back because she's Janet Jackson and because of the icon that she is. I'm expecting her to come back and say, yo, I got it wrong. I did some investigation and I apologize for spreading misinformation. That's how I see her. And that's, as a fan, I expect that from her. Because she's a Jackson, I expect that from her. Because of everything that you said, the era that she grew up, I expect that. And she needs to fire Randy. She needs to fire Randy for real.
And she ain't gonna do it. That's why I'm saying that this situation will not get fixed. So that's why I've already resigned my mind to be done canceled, Janet. And it's hurting me to my heart because that's one of my iconic ladies. But I'm not expecting her to do the big because she just like you said earlier, Randy is her counsel. And we see Randy is a raging conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. Oh, that was good right there. I definitely want to see how this is going to go down. Don't forget, you can leave your comments. You can follow us on Instagram at EverybodyMAD Live Podcast. That's interesting right there. It's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out, Sid. Well, we're about to wrap up the show. We really appreciate you all checking us out. But before we do, people were talking about Candy. She was singing at a Falcons game recently. She did the national anthem. Was she good or was she not good? We're going to roll the clip and then we're going to talk.
That our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet we're so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, they prove through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
I see where she was trying to go. Not right there. So I'm assuming that loose wasn't booze. That was jets flying over the stadium, probably.
Yeah. I think that Candy is a good singer. I'm one of those people that love Candy. I love Escape. I know that those girls could sing. I think that she should have lip sync off of a track for that right there. You know what I mean? Just like to do it a cappella. That's a lot of pressure, you know, but Candy's a real good singer, but that wasn't the best performance. I feel like if this was American Idol, I don't know if she'd get the golden ticket.
No, she wouldn't. And people realize the Star Spangled Banner is an incredibly difficult song to sing, with the different key changes and just the range that it goes. So it's not hard because it's not an easy song to do. It sounds like to me she was trying to do what Randy Jackson and Simon Cowell would say on American Idol back in the day. You tried to make that song your own. So it's almost like she tried to go to some places where other people haven't necessarily done in their rendition. She wanted to do her own little spin on it or whatever, which didn't really hit in a lot of places, and then some places it didn't fit where she was trying to go with it. But
there were some strong parts.
Creativity.
There were some strong parts. Let's be clear. There were some strong parts, but overall, with the times that the points that Seb made, it brought the performance down. And it could have been a situation where she could have just lip sync off her own track. That would have probably been better, because I've seen Candy do the national anthem before with Escape, and the girls tore it down. And Candy's part is, you can Google it. You know, you can, if you do Escape national anthem, and those girls tore that song down, and they all did good. But in this case right here, it just wasn't the best performance. And I'm gonna tell you who's laughing their ass off right now: Latasha Scott. She's probably somewhere just kicked back, just laughing her ass off. But I love Candy. I just think that wasn't the best performance. It wasn't the strongest performance.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. She could have probably tried to save that.
Yeah. But with that being said,
because I think it was last year when they did the
who Escape? No, this is a few years ago, before they broke up. Oh wait, you got to start it back over, say it from the beginning, so we can all hear. Can we play it? Will we get flagged?
We're at the end of the show now.
I know, right?
We should be all right.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna end.
We'll end with this.
Okay. See, I want people to hear her. I can't hear it, Sid.
You can't?
No, I can't hear it. Yeah, you got to start it back over, because I couldn't hear it.
Oh. Where you can hear? We can't hear nothing.
Nope. Can't hear nothing. While Sid works on that, as we wrap up the show, we really do appreciate.
You don't even hear it through my mic?
No.
That's weird. Oh,
yeah, I didn't hear it at all.
Figure it out for the next.
We'll play it next week. We'll definitely make sure that we play it next week. All right. So with that being said, we really appreciate you all checking us out. Don't forget, we are here. Well, we try to be here every week. I think we're going to try to get more back into it consistently.
We'll get back to it.
Because the election's coming up. So with that being said, make sure that you get yourself registered to vote. Our voices need to be heard, and this is a very important election. A lot of stuff is at stake for our country, so make sure that you go to the polls and vote. With that being said, I'm Kenya Kabine. You can follow me at Kenya Kabine on all social media platforms.
Yep, I'm at Said Lover everywhere, so you can find me there. We thank you for being a part of this show, and we can't wait to see you next time. Same place. We'll see you then. Peace.